Hello and welcome to Murder Dictionary Podcast. My name is Brianna and that is Kelly.
Hi.
Before we get started, every week we wanted to remind you of a few things that are in our description and show notes. You will always find links to our resources in case you want to read a little bit further, watch some YouTube videos or documentaries that we've cited. You can check those out in the show notes. We always have links to some resources for self-help stuff, domestic violence, anti-bullying, suicide hotlines, and stuff like that in case you need those links. And we also have links to our social media. So, we think our social media is pretty poppin'. We've got a shit ton of memes and random serial killer facts and mostly memes, actually.
The memes are great. You do a great job, dude.
I just really, really like posting funny stuff. So if you want to check those out and impress all your friends with all the memes you steal from us, then definitely check out the links that we have to our social media. And you will also find links to our Patreon and our Threadless. So if you want some larger merch items like t-shirts and phone cases and mugs and stuff like that, you can go to our Threadless. And if you want to get some access to bonus episodes, small merch items like stickers, condoms, magnets, you can get those at Patreon.
Do we have rolling papers yet?
We do not, but
soon enough.
Yeah.
Future.
Yeah. I feel like we should have rolling papers where it's like Lady and the Tramp, where you're like splitting, but then it's like it doesn't make sense because the fire's in someone's mouth, But something in my head says we can make that work somehow.
No, you can't. You can do it. You never done that where you put the ash in your mouth and then blow it
out?
I've
seen it,
mouth?
But I haven't done it.
I've done it and failed a couple times, but practice makes perfect.
We need to find someone that will make us some branded rolling papers for sure. That's the next project. Yes. And if anybody has any hookups out there, holla at your girls. So we have a few new Patreon supporters that we wanted to say thank you to this week. We want to say thank you to Naomi, Jennifer, Jessica, and Mandy.
Naomi, Jessica, Jennifer, and Mandy.
Damn.
This is the first time I've ever gotten it right.
That was first go. That was amazing.
Making some big changes, dude. Cutting down my caffeine intake.
You haven't smoked in at least 15 minutes.
7 hours.
That was impressive.
I know.
So thanks again to Naomi, Jennifer, Jessica, Mandy, and to Kelly.
Thank you. I mean, you're welcome.
So if you wanted to have access like them to bonus episodes and little merch items, check out our Patreon.
Cool.
And I think that's pretty much it. We can kind of get to our story. This week we are on letter Y again for YouTube murders. And Kelly's got a story.
I do.
Spicy for me.
So just a heads up, guys. This episode or this shooting takes place in Finland, and I'm not the best at pronunciation. But I'm gonna try. So
yeah, please just be patient because we're American.
Yeah.
So we suck at talking. We're just the worst.
Me specifically.
And especially when it comes to just pronouncing things from other countries. Yeah. We are absolutely the worst.
Totally.
You're doing great for an American.
That's not saying that much, but it's you know what? It's okay. So this is Jokela High School. This is the Jokela High School shooting.
Okay.
And it takes place. The shooter's name is Pekka-Eric Auvinen.
It sounds familiar.
Because I just looked up the pronunciation and you heard online. Pekka-Eric Auvinen.
Does he have one of those crazy mugshots that I would recognize?
Not as bad as Jared Lee Loughner.
Okay. Because I feel like school shooters always have those really gnarly mugshots if they survive.
So he doesn't have a mugshot.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry.
But he does have, he is on YouTube, so you can definitely see. But this YouTuber's videos are pretty much all taken down.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'll explain a little bit of that more later. But he was born June 4th, 1989. He was an 18-year-old student at Jokela High School and was born in Tuusula, Finland. He really had no criminal record. His dad was a musician and named him after guitarists Pekka Järvinen and Eric Clapton.
Oh, I love Eric Clapton. I don't care how dorky it is.
Pekka-Eric. So he was kind of known as a good student. He was really intelligent, had plans to do stuff after graduation, was in a bunch of classes. I think he was in 11th or 12th grade when this happened. Mm-hmm. he was kind of known as like being shy, isolated himself. He blushed easily and was kind of bullied. A lot of, a lot of shy kids end up getting bullied, and just happened to him. So
because bullies are assholes and they pick on the people that they see as weak. If you're quiet, you're weak.
Exactly. And we know with bullying, sometimes it can make you stronger and tougher and shape you into a different person. And sometimes people just build up a lot of resentment and can't let go of it. And I don't know. I still remember some bullies in high school.
Dude, I still hate my bully. I tried to look her up on Facebook.
Oh, you have a specific bully?
Oh, yeah, that I like.
My
really,
bully?
Yeah. But, dude, well, she was so bad that recently, it was probably a couple years ago, I was in the car with my dad, and he randomly, out of nowhere, just turned to me, and he's like, whatever happened to that Rebecca girl from elementary school? And I was like, I have no idea. I tried to find her. And he just straight out said to me, she was a bitch. She was literally like 7.
I like that your dad knew back then a 7-year-old was a little bitch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was just bad enough that the parents had to get involved and shit that. Like, they straight up terrorized me. Like, I couldn't, like, I was afraid to walk around the campus and stuff because they would follow me.
You want me to beat her up, dude? Oh,
yeah, no, seriously. I've legit tried to look for her. Like, she's going to catch these hands. But
I was supposed to be named Rebecca.
Yeah, that's a terrible name.
It is, yeah.
I mean, sorry if there's Rebeccas out there.
No, yeah.
I haven't had good experience with Rebeccas.
Becky's.
Yeah, no, not good. So sorry. That's my story about bullying.
Totally cool. You don't have a YouTube account, do you?
No, I don't.
Cool. Right.
So everyone's safe.
So he was kind of like long-term bullied through elementary, junior high, whatever they have over there, up to high school. So
Me too, boo.
He didn't really seem to be like a troublemaker or anything like that. He wasn't into drugs, wasn't into alcohol. His teachers kind of said he would take like advanced classes and stuff like that. Oh, so he was like
AP honors kid,
kind of,
seemed to be doing well.
Moderately intelligent, definitely was above the rest,
Okay.
He actually showed like a lot of interest in social issues, which a lot of kids, in high school don't really care. There's some kids that, there's two groups of kids. The ones that really are just champions of justice and but this is what kind of shifted him towards extremist thought.
But this, if you've noticed, was the same thing that happened last week. It's just like, if you're a little too into politics, there's like a fine line there.
Exactly. And he went extremist, and that's when you become just overboard.
Right.
So his philosophy and ideology kind of included a mix of cynicism, social Darwinism, nihilism.
I'm a nihilist, Lebowski. You believe in nothing.
It was in my head, and I was like, she gonna say it. See, I gave you the look too. But anti-humanism, he just thought humanity was kind of overrated and just another species along with animals. He just didn't like people.
See, so far this kid has some good points.
That's what I'm saying. He's again extremist. Like, you could not like some people because not everybody's good,
right?
But he was anti-religious. He thought religion was stupid and pointless. He also hated democracy, and he hated democracy so much that he had a list of his targets. And
this is starting to get bad.
On this list of targets, the Finnish parliament was made the list, basically.
Ooh,
even better. It's so random, not even better. It's just he on the list too. He had shoot alcoholics, or shoot up a mall.
What the fuck?
Crazy, right? Like, he's just, has this crazy list, but he ultimately decided,
it's like, I don't like you. I don't like you. You can get some too.
Yeah.
You're cool.
And
fuck you.
Yeah. He just ended up going to his school instead, which, I mean, it's just a bunch of innocent victims either way. It wasn't anyone specifically targeted. I mean, Parliament would make more sense with extremist views, but a mall.
Yeah.
It's
also just about attention, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's just getting a group of people and lashing out at them, and they're innocent, and it draws attention to whatever your views are.
And your views are completely on YouTube, so people will find out what your views are.
Yeah, it's just they're trying to market their manifesto, basically. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we'll get into his manifesto.
Ooh.
The whole thing. It's terrifying. But
can you hold a flashlight like under your chin while you read the manifesto? Can this be scary stories of manifestos?
I feel like my double chin will just...
It's going to highlight.
So we said this happened in 2007, but between December 2006 and January 2007, Auvinen's parents tried to get him some help because they kind of noticed he was a little bit off and a little bit extremist, and
at least they noticed.
They did, which is good, and they referred him to a psychiatric outpatient clinic for depression and anxiety.
So that worked well.
It totally, but the offer kind of was refused because his symptoms seemed mild, which is kind of weird to judge like that. But
that psychiatrist needs to be fired.
Yes, so they ended up giving him antidepressants before any attempts to like hospitalize him and keep him there. Auvinen had an online acquaintance named Jokela High, and he told Jokela that basically he wasn't going to be making it to the military service that he was supposed to be doing. He was leaving like kind of cryptic homicidal messages with her, and I guess the relationship was kind of a crazy relationship. They had dated for a little bit or had like a romantic. I think he liked her and it wasn't reciprocated.
Got it.
And I guess he found out that she had a boyfriend, so he kind of flipped out a little bit.
Oh God. Exactly. Fragile male ego.
It happens. A lot of them, I mean, a lot of these YouTubers, like Elliot Rodgers too, like
that's a very consistent theme with the YouTube based murders.
Yeah, being depressed and anxious and then having a woman kind of. And I guess even with after the attacks and everything, people were blaming her a little bit.
Really?
Because you see this guy has a following, but I guess because everyone wants someone to blame, I guess.
Right, yeah, you want to point fingers, and it's, usually so misguided and fucked up where the finger gets pointed.
She's a young kid, too. They were 18 when it happened, so...
There's nothing she could have done,
Exactly. He had irregularly taken selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, which are like antidepressants, right? 1 year prior to the incident. Some of his classmates reported changes in his behavior to other people. So not only did his parents notice a shift, but his students and peers kind of noticed. So they reported it to a youth worker and said that he would like threaten and I guess specifically saying they would die in a white revolution.
Whoa.
Always something cool to tell people going down the streets. Like,
jeez.
Crazy. But one of his
hey stranger.
Hey, you gonna die in a white revolution. You gonna die in a white revolution.
Everybody.
I don't get it.
Yeah, fuck. Wow.
I guess one of his teachers described him as a militant radical who was kind of interested in both far left and far right. So no matter which way he went, he was extreme.
Right.
Some people said he had been planning the shooting since at least early March 2006 before he met any of the people online who also had been blamed for the massacre. But I'm going to say they have more to do with it. You'll see this guy kind of has that following of Elliot Rodger, where people turned him into...
Like a folk hero or something?
Exactly.
People are idiots.
People are scary.
Yeah.
He had a diary and he wrote that he was going to initiate an operation against humanity with the purpose of killing as many people as possible and causing havoc and mayhem around him. So he was kind of preparing for the events and shooting. He was just getting ready to cause some type of havoc. He said that he would be armed and ready to carry out the operation by autumn latest. And in March, he wrote that he'd probably die himself carrying it out. So he already knew he was going to go balls to the wall.
Damn.
He really did, how we were saying before, it was his wish that he wanted to be remembered forever and that it would make a lasting impact on the world. So he did kind of want to affect, and he believed that other people would follow in his footsteps.
But I feel like it's just a weird thought process to me because I feel like that kind of ego and narcissism would want to stay alive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And see that they're famous or whatever, or see their lasting impact. If they truly believed that, if they believed in the delusion wholeheartedly, if they believed in the cause wholeheartedly, wouldn't they want to be alive to see it?
Totally.
But so many of them are suicidal.
Absolutely.
And that it just kind
Makes
of
no sense.
doesn't match up to me. I'd love to learn more about the psychology of that because it just seems like it doesn't make sense.
You would think they would, self-preservation versus proving your point.
Right.
You know? But it's funny that you bring that up because the people that also ended up dead in something like this, his heroes would be the Columbine shooters.
Right.
He admired them. He really, really, truly admired them and even criticized them sometimes on some of their work.
some of their work.
Some
You
of their
mean
work.
that
I
one
mean, that
thing that
one
they
thing.
did?
So I don't even know. Cut that.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. If you look up to them, wouldn't you even kind of, it's such a fucked up way to put it, but kind of learn from their mistakes?
He
Like they
does.
never even
Yeah.
live to see any of that. That's even more motivation to me in my mind for him to stick around for it.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously we're not dealing with a right person. Otherwise
No.
they wouldn't idolize the Columbine shooters.
And we're
so.
also dealing with teenagers. You know, they're not fully.
Dude, they're scary.
They don't give up.
Terrified.
Nihilistic. Man. Like, I don't get it, and he really just doesn't care. So, he not only did he admire the Columbine shooters, but he admired other shooters in all other parts of the world.
Yeah.
On April 16th, 2007, he basically was just expressing his joys over the killings at Virginia Tech and was just praising it. A little bit later on 4/20, he celebrated the Columbine school killings in his diary and said that he regretted that the killer's propane bomb failed to explode.
School shootings. I'm already starting to get really like sad just
I
knowing that there's a
know.
school shooting coming. Like I'm trying to just make light of things, but I'm already bracing myself for devastation.
Yes.
Oh my God.
His first comments, I guess, were that day online in an internet discussion forum dedicated to the Columbine school shooters. So that's his first footstep on the internet, you know, shooter world. But in May of 2007, Pekka began writing his natural selector manifesto entitled "How Did Natural Selection Turn into Idiocratic Selection?"
Jesus.
He had the English and the Finnish version uploaded to the internet on
See, I told you
November
us
5th.
Americans ain't shit.
I know. Like,
They're like, I'm going to make this bilingual.
and Google Translate never adds up right. Like,
No,
it always
never.
is a little
When you
off.
have a manifesto, that's important. You can't trust Google Translate with a manifesto. That's all I'm saying.
I would love to see like the messed up version where it like turns gun into ice cream. It like translates it wrong. And he was still putting finishing touches to that manifesto pretty much even before the night of the incident. And
Procrastinator.
I know, could totally relate to that. But he uploaded before like the shooting and everything, his crazy rampage, he uploaded a file package containing 21 media files to the internet. Contained pictures of himself, the firearms, Jokela High School, a music file, which I haven't figured out what it is because I have the rest. I have the pictures. I don't have the music file. Oh, he's totally into
It's
like
Eric Clapton.
It's more hardcore
It's just
than
Tears
that.
in Heaven.
I think it's the same song that the Columbine shooters liked.
Oh, okay, that would make sense.
Something tells me it's that. And then 3 documents in Finnish and English. The text has some of his favorite thinkers, Plato, Nietzsche, and kind of references the Unabomber's manifesto too.
Huh.
So this is where you can see how much he really likes people. Put it out. And I believe of course, okay, so he did his manifesto by himself, but he puts like events, targets, the date, the attack type. So he put the event, Jokela High School Massacre, targets, Jokela and Lukio, the high school, students, faculty, society, humanity, and the human race.
So this is basically an outline for...
It's almost an outline, really,
Yeah.
though. And he even put attack type, mass murder, political terrorism. Although I chose the school as my target, my motives for the attack are political and much, much deeper. And therefore, I don't want this to be called only as a school shooting. But I'm going to call it a school shooting.
Yeah,
Fuck
that's what the
you,
fuck
dude.
it is.
Yeah. He gave you the location, too.
Is he like flipping his emo hair out of his face while he's writing that? What the fuck?
Yeah,
It's so much deeper.
So much.
It's just so much deeper.
He doesn't even look like that. You're going to be so mad when you
Oh
see
no!
this guy.
Does he have no eyebrows?
He's just a pretty blonde Finnish guy.
Oh,
That's it. No.
Boo.
So
boo.
perpetrator's name Pekka-Eric Auvinen, aka Natural Selector 89, or Natural Selector, or aka Sturmgeist 89 and Sturmgeist. I also use the name Eric von Aufen internationally.
Oh, that's too many AKAs for me. Way too many. You get 2. That's it.
I'm gonna go with Sturgmeist. Sounds like a douchey white boy. It's Sturgmeister.
I'm gonna go with Natcel. I think you should just shorten it.
I think Natcel and Sturgmeist should do a bong rip or a beer bong together. So
Chill the fuck out. Decide to stay home.
yeah, not go to the high school. Ditch class.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
I mean, that's a simple solution for wanting to shoot up your school. Just
Yeah.
like stay home. Just cut class.
Be a couch potato. Wait till 420. Stay on the couch till 420.
Might I suggest Funyuns?
They have hot Cheeto Funyuns or flaming hot Funyuns. Did you know that?
I'm in.
Okay. So let's see. What does he hate and what does he not like? Let's see. Can you guess something that he may not like?
Cats.
And if by cats you meant rap music?
Every time I say cats, that's exactly what I mean. Exactly. It's like you read my mind.
Well, consumerism isn't that like a play?
No, that's dogs.
Oh, okay. So here's a couple of things that he doesn't like: equality, tolerance.
I never expected to hear that sentence in my life. You know what I really don't like? Equality.
Fuck equality, dude. Why are we fighting so hard for that?
Like, I've heard roundabout ways of saying that, of course. We've all heard hate speech.
Eugenics.
But for someone to just say, hey, I'm really not a big fan of equality. Like that, come on.
Or political correctness.
Well, that I've heard a lot.
Human rights? Do you think he likes them? No.
Not so much. I'm against him.
Surprisingly, he doesn't like totalitarianism. TV commercials, but I can unless they're Super Bowl commercials, I'm not in. I don't. Pacifism, democracy, state mafia, alcoholics. That's all.
Again, awesome. What about drug addicts? Is he like cool with heroin, but like not okay with no duels?
He doesn't like. He doesn't like antidepressants. He doesn't put drinks on there.
He was on antidepressants.
That's probably why.
Huh.
Enslaving religions and ideologies, TV soap operas, and drama shows.
Yeah, I mean, Passion's it's really bad.
But does he watch Riverdale?
Riverdale. It's the best.
So let's see. What does he love? What does he like? Long walks on the beach? The Finnish beaches? He loves existentialism, self-awareness, freedom, justice, truth, moral and political philosophy, personal and social psychology, BDSM.
Well,
guns.
I mean, what's not to love? That's all I'm saying.
Incorrectness. Violent movies, metal music, industrial rock. Oh, and electric rock. Aggressive electronic and industrial rock.
Yeah, you got to make sure it's aggressive.
Yeah.
I don't want any like pussy
No.
industrial, because you know how that goes.
My soft metal. Serial killer cases, natural disasters, which it sucks that I have to agree I like both of those.
You like natural disasters?
Well, I like shows about natural disasters.
I mean, they're fascinating, but like, it's weird to be like, if you're filling out a dating profile, just like, what do you like? Natural disasters,
earthquakes,
ghouls, magnets,
twisters. He likes sarcasm and irony and black humor, macabre and
milk steak.
But I mean, a lot of stuff. He likes computers, but evolution science. So you could see what his kind of ideologies are. But I think it's funny that he's just who doesn't like equality?
Yeah, that was the first one where I'm just like,
but
whoa,
people that think they're better than other people, don't like. So
yes,
people that think they can take other people's lives. So
yeah, and they are justified in doing so, have to naturally believe that they are better than. Yeah.
So he basically just goes in with his manifesto. He just talks about how everyone is just totally misguided. The human race is devolving. Laws protect the majority. He uses the R word a lot.
Republican? That's the only bad R word I know. Racism.
Rerarded.
Relaxing? I know. I'm high anxiety too. I get it.
But he's talking about how weak-minded
reindeers.
people.
Can I keep going?
How dare you? But he's saying
Teddy Ruxpin.
God damn it. Rumpelstiltskin. Rectum.
Ralph Macchio?
Whoa. You crossed the line. We need
Take it back.
We need some boundaries here. I don't even know you. So,
rectums.
I was thinking about that too, but I can't always bring up buttholes.
Sometimes I get to be the butthole girl.
Today's your day. So I guess he was saying that weak-minded people are producing more faster than others, and the laws are protecting these people he doesn't really like. He goes into eugenics, and he basically says he doesn't want to belong to the same race as he basically can't claim himself as a human belonging to the lousy, miserable, arrogant, selfish human race. And he has evolved one step above.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Fuck this guy so much. Like, I get it that these kinds of killers, these kinds of this specific profile has to, of course, believe, like, with wholeheartedly that they are superior.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
that has to be an aspect of their personality type, or else they can't carry out this kind of attack where they're actually taking lives that they think doesn't matter because they're less than. But still, it's just like so shocking to believe that, you know, someone is so all in on that thought process.
So extreme.
It's so delusional.
He's a tough kid. I mean, I just don't. But he's not stupid. Again, he's not, like, the way he talks and the way he's versed. And I mean,
yeah, we're used to seeing a lot of times people that are really inarticulate, that really can't get their thoughts across because they're like genuinely having a crisis of mental health.
Yeah.
Where they're really out of touch with reality. And it is kind of scary to see someone that is seemingly kind of in touch with reality, has their, like, a way of expressing what's in their head and they can articulate it, but still it's so fucked up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they have enough of a grasp on reality to, like, get their thoughts out there.
Yeah, but they're still gone. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. It's something
weird...
that's even more terrifying. Like, he could walk up to you and have a normal conversation, and then you could be murdered 30 seconds later.
Absolutely.
You know?
You think that the crazy person in the room is easy to see. You know
right.
what I mean? Or
you
like the unstable.
Yeah, that there's those red flags that you can absolutely pinpoint so that you can feel safer to diffuse it.
Yeah.
But a lot of times that's not the case. And
totally.
This seems like he's one of those guys.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
He ends up separating people into 3 groups based on their ability to think critically. And
in his manifesto?
Yes.
Okay.
And
I was like, are we in the shooting already?
No,
like,
not
did
yet.
I miss something?
It kind of explains, like, the natural selector role is to weed out these people.
Okay.
And his actions, he justifies his actions by saying it's a total war against humanity. And it's to get rid of these people. It's natural selection. But I don't get how natural selection is natural when you take a gun.
Right.
And
it absolutely is not natural when you're the person that's instrumental in facilitating it.
Absolutely.
Like, that's the opposite of natural selection.
You know what is natural selection? When people do all those crazy fucking stunts and expect themselves to live. And it's like, well. And then they record it on YouTube. You know, it's really cool. But just have a safety net.
I mean, that's kind of like Steve-O's existence is proof
know.
of not natural selection.
I know.
Fucking climbing a crane with Shamu.
I was just talking to someone about that, but like, because they were a younger kid, and I was like, "Do you remember when Steve-O? Yeah, when Steve-O swallowed that goldfish and puked it up, and Steve-O was born?" I was like, "Because Steve-O, we were talking about the different sections of Jackass, how Steve-O just does the gross stuff."
Yes,
and they didn't know about the goldfish, and I was like, "You gotta
look that up.
You gotta do something with your life." But
I also like that Steve-O drew the line at putting that toy car in his ass, and Ryan Gunn had to do that. Yeah. I know this is like the worst tangent, but I feel like a lot of people draw the line at butthole.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
So fucking crazy.
I remember the doctor's face.
Yeah, and I remember seeing Steve-O interviewed, and he was like, "My dad would have killed me." Just like, people are really scared of butt stuff.
Yeah, don't be scared. So
shh, calm.
I know you have to relax.
Yeah, just chill.
But the 3 kinds of humans, he split them up into the personality types in the world. There's number 1, the individualistic human, which is 3% of the world population. The manipulative human, which is 3% of the world population. The mass human, 94%.
I'd like to see the research on this.
Yeah,
I'd like to see these backed up.
Where are your sources? Statistics, exactly.
Was this a blind study?
But number 1 and number 2, I guess you said, are the intelligent, the creative, self-aware people, and have chosen supposedly different and maybe more just better paths. The third, 94%, the majority, is weak, unintelligent, or less intelligent. Basically, he just splits everybody up, and again, just justifying the way it's okay to slaughter people that way.
Yeah, trying to make himself feel better about what he's doing, or make himself feel justified.
I guess his sources were based on Gaussian distribution and history of human race and how humans are organized in societies.
Huh.
But who says that guy's right?
But come on, dude.
Fuck that guy too.
Yeah.
So here's his just a better breakdown. Number 1 was the more intelligent. The 2 are the slightly rewarded, and the 3 are highly rewarded. Oh, it's a vegetables.
God.
So
fuck this guy.
yeah, not really.
That's his classification?
Yeah, and he
Fuck this guy.
No, it's only 3 sections, but he talks about how he's so full of hate, and it's one thing that he really loves, even though he didn't put it on his likes and dislikes list. He said he used to believe in humanity, but he woke up, you know?
His manifesto is straight up a dating profile.
Really, it's a lot longer.
This dude's a fucking ass.
I'm trying to summarize it, but
douchebag.
he just explains how he was super unhappy and frustrated and angry, and he couldn't live in a society or the reality because of his existential thinking and observing society. He wanted to have other things happen in his life, and he only has hate against the human race. So
nobody's happy, dude. Welcome to adulthood. No,
exactly. And I don't even know if it's like niche or something that says like it was in this Vietnam documentary, but like life is like suffering and whatever, and the meaning of life is finding whatever the cut it out.
No, but I think that, you kind of have to, happiness doesn't just happen to you.
Yeah.
And like having good people in your life, honestly, doesn't really just come naturally. There are a lot of shitty people out there, but it's just about like finding the things that make you happy, finding the kind of goals that you want to attain and getting there, and surrounding yourself with people that you click with.
Exactly.
And just because you don't agree with someone or don't get along with someone doesn't necessarily mean that they're, what he calls them. I just like fucking grow up, you know? Well, he's a teenager. Absolutely. I'm expecting too much from a teenager, but that's just so crazy.
Agreed. He also says, don't blame the movies I see, the music I hear, the games I play, or the books I read. No, they had nothing to do with this. This is my war. One-man war against humanity, governments, and weak-minded masses of the world. No mercy for the scum of the earth. In all caps, humanity is overrated. It's time to put natural selection and survival of the fittest back on tracks. Humanity is overrated. Justice renders to everyone his due. Pekka-Eric Auvinen, a.k.a. Natural Selector 89.
He's not even old enough to have a fucking opinion, like his entire life is probably shaped by what his parents have told him or a reaction to that's opposite, and all the media he takes in.
Now, can I show you what he looks like? Can you read what his shirt says?
Humanity is overrated. I have seen that guy.
You have? Okay.
He's tiny eyes.
Yeah. Hey, watch it, bro. I got tiny eyes.
I like tiny eyes.
But he's like, he puts his own pictures in there, and this guy's a douche. So
yeah, he looks like a fucking douchebag.
He left suicide notes after, because he left the files and everything like that, and he left a suicide note, and he said, by the time you're reading this, I'm probably already dead. So we were talking about how people would kind of, said that he was kind of tripping out and that other peers and everything like that. So somebody actually approached him. So not only did they try and get him psychiatric help, somebody did approach him and talked with him about 3 times. A youth worker talked with him about 3 times for the last time in early November. And this happened in early November.
That's so crazy. Because usually they just don't get help at all. Nobody really sees it. And it's kind of, I don't know. It's just scary that people were trying to intervene and help him.
3
and it
times.
just wasn't working.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only did he not say he didn't mention any possibility of anything violent, nothing violent, but the same youth worker had talked to the head teacher of the school and said that he was aware of Pekka's like, crazy sayings and stuff like that, the whole white revolution and stuff like that, and then he would keep an eye on him.
Oh, yeah, that's going to help.
Yeah. So he was able to prevent school authorities from contacting his parents about the issue because he was 18 years old.
Oh, God. No.
And in August, he went to a shooting range and was allowed to fire a shot with a weapon owned by like the local shooting club. He kind of got into shooting and stuff. He had so much to where he acquired like a firearm permit. because he's 18 too.
Fuck.
But I actually think Finland has a younger age for that, which is even crazier.
Interesting. Usually America's like
crazy, yeah,
about that life.
Yep. But I think theirs is like 15.
Huh.
He ended up on November 2nd, 2007. He ended up buying a gun and ammunition at a gun shop.
At a Walmart.
Gun shop Walmart.
Walmart. I have no idea what Finnish sounds like.
Pretty good. There's like double U's and stuff. Ooh.
Walmart.
Rumoured, you know? But he ended up practicing. He went to the woods. He's like, I'm going to go practice my gun, get my, I just got this badass gun. I'm going to go practice in the woods. This is a couple days before the school shootings. And he ended up being online a lot more and just going back to that kind of crazy internet community that he has of people who love school shootings. And it's specifically, again, the Columbine one. He ended up publishing a picture of his gun and video montage using some material from the Columbine school shootings.
Oh, God.
And
was Eye of the Tiger playing? Like, what the fuck?
Oh, shit. No, it's probably that one creepy. Oh, that's another thing about his videos, too, is that his music is up way too loud. So he's like trying to talk and say his message of like,
oh, God.
Fuck people. Just like, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, can you turn down the music? I kind of want to hear what you're saying, but.
Just because it's so nuts.
Yeah, it's nuts. I need to hear what you're saying. But he ended up a couple days before, ended up talking to one specific person online. He ended up getting kind of closer with this person. He quoted Columbine shooters, the Columbine shooters in like some of these chats because they ended up, I think it was an instant messaging program, so they ended up getting the transcript and stuff. But he said he was going to, or implied he was going to go and go to his school armed with a gun, but when the person asked a little bit more about it, he kind of denied it and wouldn't say anything about it.
You would think you would be more forthcoming, just like, hey, this person's kind of on my side, so I can tell him my secrets.
That narcissistic thing, you would think you would want to kind of brag about it, but he kind of thought things would turn for the better to make his acts unnecessary, but right before the last entry for his computer event was made on November 7th, 2007 at 1:57 a.m. So, the day of the incident, November 7th, 2007, he didn't go to school.
Can I plug my ears? I'm just kidding.
Totally. I'm going to say it in Finnish then.
The school shootings really get me. I'm gonna brace myself. We got this.
You got
your
I'm
not
little,
gonna
you
cry.
got your ready arms? You look like a strong female. I'm intimidated.
Totally changed my posture.
Don't
I got this.
shoot
I
me.
totally got this. I'm not gonna cry, bro. You're crying.
Can you do the what's that Save the Last Dance thing where you do like the left and the left, you lean with it, like
That's not, I can't picture it. But
I just realized you haven't seen that movie then. Based on that dance.
It's got Julia Stiles
That's
in it.
Never mind. Yeah. She's like doing like the knee lean, whatever.
I feel like I know I saw it. I just can't picture the dance.
It would just make me a little happier doing
Hashtag
this.
drugs.
So instead of going to his first class, he kind of was just surfing the web at 8:37. And at 9:33, he uploaded his video to YouTube that showed his school from like the pond and just and then it showed him pointing a gun at the camera.
Oh fuck.
His industrial rock came up after like his industrial rock was the soundtrack for the clip, and after 11 he kind of edited the text, the videos, and sent a message to the school killings net community saying history was going to be made.
Oh no.
The day of the shooting happened to be the 70th anniversary of the October Revolution. At 11:28, he switched his computer off and headed for school on his little bike.
11:28 is really late.
I know, he's really fucking
So he
late.
wasn't showing up for the normal school start.
Yeah, he didn't. He skipped class. He was out on his computer doing his YouTube thing, being all cool or whatever, and he just ended up, maybe it was like a pond. Maybe it wasn't the school pond. I thought it said the school center's pond, but he ended up pointing his gun at it.
Maybe it's a stupid detail, but for some reason I thought that school shooters would show up kind of like a normal day, like just starts at 8, because then it wouldn't draw attention to them or something. But I have no basis for that. It's just something that I never thought of before. Like, I always assumed that was a thing.
It sucks that it's later. And I mean, not even, it wouldn't, you'd have to sit through a couple classes and then it ruins your day. Like, not only did you have to take that math test. I'm just kidding. You had to take that math test, but I mean, it's
I was thinking like more movement around the time where
Absolutely.
It's lunchtime.
Yeah.
You know?
Carrying a backpack and guns would look less suspicious when there's tons of people crowding the hallways.
Right.
So he entered the basement door through the school canteen. Lessons were still going on. And I guess because Finland is a lot different. There's upper secondary school students were having lunch at the time. So some people were in and some people were having lunch.
Mm-hmm.
An upper secondary school student who was the first victim was in the corridor and he shot him at about 11:42. And then he moved on to the lavatories on the ground floor. Several students in the corridors noticed the boy laying down on the floor, but they thought he had just fallen and bumped his head.
Oh, no.
Some students heard sounds, which they didn't really know about, but they recognized them as shots. So people started to call the ERC, the Emergency Response Center. This is when Pekka ended up shooting his second victim, who was standing in the lavatory or the restroom doorway.
Mm-hmm.
And then he turned and shot at his third victim. So I guess one of the students recognized him, and the school nurse came out running to see, that someone had been shot. And she shouted for other people to like leave and to call the ERC and stuff like that. So somebody had tried to call, and during the phone call, Pekka noticed that someone was calling and ended up shooting that victim too. That would be victim number 4, all outside of the bathroom. And he ran after the school nurse who was trying to escape through the corridor. He ended up shooting the school nurse, who ended up being the 5th victim, and then another student in the same spot in the corridor. So it was kind of all at one spot, and it wasn't specific people. It was all at random.
Yeah, just whoever was walking in.
As many people, similar to Columbine.
Damn. Oh my God.
So we're up to 6 victims. It's only 11:46. So 11:46, these victims were killed within 4 minutes. The deputy head teacher was in the staff room when a girl arrived to tell her that the gunman was in the building, and the deputy head went to the head teacher's office and told her that someone was, shooting everyone in the hallway. At 11:47, the head teacher made an announcement over the PA system, telling everyone to stay in the classrooms and no one to leave. Kind of like a lockdown.
Right.
After this, Pekka ended up firing several shots. In total, there were about 53 cartridge cases that were found on the ground floor.
Fuck.
And he was shouting, "I'll kill all of you." Even though he was killing people at random, a student's mother was trying to enter the building, and he ended up not shooting her.
Huh.
But he moved on to a ground floor classroom and shot 3 times through the door, wounding a student in the foot. I think it shot him in the toe, which is kind of crazy. He ended up going 2 floors up to the second floor, and 2 students were sitting on a bench in the corridor. One of them managed to escape, but the other was victim number 7, which is terrible because I'm sure they were friends and one just fled.
Right.
That would just be
survivor's guilt.
Right?
Yeah.
So 3 cartridge cases were found in the hallway. Pekka had sprayed a flammable liquid on the corridor wall and tried to light it on with matches, unsuccessfully, which I think is kind of funny that he had criticized the Columbine for not having the bomb go off or whatever. Right. So I just thought that was a funny.
Like he wasn't prepared, didn't practice or something.
Didn't do that. He critiqued his heroes and then did the same exact mistakes when we were talking about, wouldn't you look at it? Wouldn't you try and improve? Wouldn't you do this? But it's the same shit that happens, Has
he never heard of a dress rehearsal?
Or a lighter? I don't.
You don't own a Zippo? Fuck.
So he ended up going to the end of the hallway in front of the school canteen on the first floor. He tried to enter, but the sliding glass doors had been locked, which is good. So I guess people were locking everything up. He demanded that they would be open. He shot through the glass doors, hitting some chairs. But the people in that area managed to escape through the other room. So people are trying to trying to
so
flee.
they're already having a little bit of an evacuation going on.
Absolutely. Which is crazy because people were evacuating, but the teacher had told to stay inside.
Yeah.
Like, no way.
But it's only like you have to kind of make that judgment call. If there is an escape route where you think you really could get out, I mean, I think any person would take that chance,
totally.
You know? But then there's some where it's like there's no other exit. There's just one door. So let me just make sure that one door is secure. You know, you have to just assess the situation you're in.
So this is still only around 11:54 a.m. About 5 cartridge cases were found after he had done the whole glass door thing.
Okay. And really, I don't know, making that decision to go out the other side probably saved a lot of lives because they would have just been sitting in there,
just
you know,
stuck.
Easy targets.
So I guess there had been the head teacher and the education welfare officer. I'm not really sure what those titles are, but
I know, it was like, are these principals, vice principals?
It sounds like there's like 3
a counselor, a guidance counselor.
Yeah, there's probably
again,
1,000
we're Americans. We don't know how anything works
Let
in
us
any
know.
other country.
So ignorant.
We really don't know. We don't even know our own history, so
who are you?
We barely know how anything works in America.
Yeah, I think it has
We're
to do
doing
with fireworks,
our best
right?
for Americans, right?
I know about barbecue and fireworks and red, white, and blue.
It's California. We celebrate Cinco de Mayo.
Indeed. Yeah, I know. Really, though.
It's like the biggest holiday here.
But the head teacher and the main authority figures were just trying to evacuate and stuff like that. But when this happened, the Pekka ended up coming out and he's just swearing. He's like super upset. He ended up shooting the head teacher, the 8th victim, several times. So they ended up like fleeing towards the field and he comes out running. So they're trying to get away and he ends up just happening to like kind of run into them and she's shouting and then ends up killing them. So that's the 8th victim. And that person was shot several times. In this location, 7 cartridge cases were found. So the end of this little hallway thing, there was a comprehensive school classroom, and he had ended up going through the door. He pointed his gun at the students, and he was like, "There's a revolution going on, and you need to start breaking things." He fired 2 shots, one at the television and one at the other window, but did not try to shoot the students. Doesn't really make sense. I don't get why he picks and chooses some, which is weird that some are at random.
Yeah.
So at this time, people are starting to respond. We have the emergency respondents. So we have ambulances and police and stuff like that. He tried to fire at them, you know, but he failed to penetrate some windows, and he kind of just set up shop near the main entrance.
Okay.
He started shooting at the policemen who were trying to come up and maybe negotiate a little bit with him and giving him orders. Maybe not negotiate, but giving him orders and stuff. And he ended up going to the bathroom next to where he had kind of set up shop and shot himself in the head.
Okay, at least it's over.
He didn't die till the next day, and he ended up being the 9th casualty. He was taken to the Toulo Hospital of Helsinki University Central Hospital. And he ended up dying from the gunshot wound about 6 hours after he was taken. So
imagine being that doctor that has to try and save this motherfucker.
He tried real hard. Just kidding.
God.
No, but same with lawyers too. Like, how do you take those jobs and just be completely morally unbiased?
Yeah. You have to put everything aside and look at it just as a patient or just as a client. I am not strong enough to do that.
Me neither.
So, or maybe I'm just not an asshole enough to do that.
True, yeah.
The doctor I don't blame, but the lawyers.
Lawyers, yeah. They're all getting paid for it, so. But all of the victims had tons of injuries to their head, upper body, all that stuff. And Pekka-Eric ended up firing a total of 75 shots in the school, and there were 328 unused cartridges were found, 250 in the shoulder bag that he was carrying with him, 59 in his pockets, and 15 in the school center, 3 in the pistol, and 1 at his home.
Jesus.
That's right.
Crazy amount.
Yeah. So everyone started, the ERC started coming to take care of everyone. This is now everything's kind of over and we need to take care of the victims and stuff like that.
I wonder if possibly they thought there was another shooter.
That's
you know
exactly
what I mean? Like
what they
Columbine
thought.
had to, like, I mean, it's not unheard of. So
that's exactly
what they thought. It must take a
thought.
really long time to secure a scene like that when you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think, because they really didn't have too much information. So they did originally assume that there was a second shooter.
Huh.
So everyone's running out. They're really hysterical. The education welfare officer basically had used a cell phone to communicate with the ERC and kind of organized the evacuation of everyone.
Okay.
Some students exited through the loading lock door. Some people ended up breaking windows in some sections to get kids out because they were locked from the inside. Let's see. Again, people were still telling people in the PA, like one of the teachers was still saying over the PA to stay in the classroom. So there's kind of a mix.
Yeah. And it's such chaos in any situation like that. I mean, there's no organization.
Absolutely.
There's no way to prepare for it actually happening.
And the head teacher did want the classroom doors locked. So.
Right. So how do you know what to do?
Exactly.
And even if somebody tells you to come out, how do you know that that's not the person?
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
Like, what? No way. By 2:29, the whole school building had been cleared. They had done an inspection to make sure that it had only been one gunman, and that all the victims.
What time did it end?
So this was, I think, around.
I don't know. I'm
11.
just thinking that's like the longest couple hours of your life. I mean, that must be so traumatic just to sit there waiting and waiting, not knowing.
Yeah, I think it was like
what your fate would be.
12-ish.
God, that's such a long
time. It's
a
long time,
to
really.
Not have it secured and have people.
And to sit there and just think. But by 2:29, they had found out that he had died.
Okay.
And the second inspection round was done about 3:40, and the last students had been evacuated by 3:17. So
oh my God,
started
that's
about
forever.
3 hours. Yeah.
Oh my God, those poor kids.
The readiness unit left Jokela at 4 to 4:30. And then the investigation and forensic and investigators came in. Victim identification arrived at the site. And then the policemen and everyone were kind of relieved by other departments and stuff like that. But the armed forces provided assistance to the police, first in the form of 2 armored vehicles and later like a military unit to seal off the area for investigation.
Got it.
And the military unit everyone kind of helped each other here. They were accommodated by the Jokela fire station. And after they had evacuated and got everyone out, they started to separate people by the injured people and non-injured so people could kind of get services and stuff. And they were tended to by ambulances. There were about a dozen students with cuts in bodies and sprained limbs. And then that guy who got hit in the toe by a bullet. So in total, there was about 12 ambulances, 2 rescue units, and the fire chief on call, and a medical helicopter was sent to the site. That ended, and here's some of the aftermath from it. It's crazy that even a couple of weeks later, because they had shut down the school, obviously, but it was opened a couple weeks later, so kids could get their stuff and resume classes. But
wow,
they recommenced classes, a little bit later, and it ended up being the country's worst school shooting.
Yeah, I kind of figured. I mean, school shootings are really common in America. It's not
at all
as common outside of America.
Totally.
It seems from what I've seen, and I don't know the exact specific statistics, but that just seems like that's been the case.
So they tried to eradicate like anything that looked like there was a school shooting, bullet holes, doors being filled in, broken windows, torn blinds, and anything
in addition to all the casualties that are just so tragic, there's also all these survivors.
Yeah.
A massive amount of kids that are just dealing with just
trauma.
Terrible trauma. Yeah. I mean, crippling trauma.
Absolutely. And then you have to go back?
To return to the site of your trauma. I just I can't even imagine what they went through.
Absolutely not. And imagine if you didn't feel. I'm not even that you didn't, but what if you missed a bullet hole, And I'm sitting in class and I look over and I'm just like,
right, and have a complete
breakdown. Yeah. So they were allowed to, because they couldn't get their belongings and stuff, so they were allowed to get their stuff. They had about 450 pupils at the school total, and they were allowed to attend temporary school at a nearby Tuusula primary school, as well as the local church. So in the meantime, between in the renovations, they still had to go to school.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, there's part of me that thinks that maybe that's good to maintain a little bit of normalcy, to also connect with the kids that you went through this with, the people that were in that classroom waiting with you, you know?
Because your parents aren't going to understand as much, and hopefully they'd be supportive. But you do, I guess, you would want to be around those people. Yeah,
someone that's really been there, that's truly shared that experience, that can kind of, you know, talk to you about that aftermath and those feelings.
Yeah. But I guess the Tuusula spokeswoman Heidi Hagman had told people that the first couple of days coming back to school, that the days will be shortened a lot.
Okay, you know? That's good.
And it says, she's quoted saying, "Today the students will spend time getting used to the renovated and repaired school area. Students and teachers are getting support from Red Cross crisis workers and psychologists during the first days of school."
That's good. That's really awesome that they organized all that support for them.
Absolutely.
Instead of just kind of like dropping them back into the same
You deal with it.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like they were really trying to be extremely supportive psychologically and really make some changes that would eliminate some of those triggers, you know?
Exactly. And Esa Ukola, head of the education in Tuusula, had said that, you know, like you were saying, coming back to the school, she said, we need to show that there's nobody lurking in the cupboards anymore.
Right.
We're trying to have as normal a school day as possible. There are dozens of extra people to ensure we can do anything in small enough groups.
Yeah, and that it's to instill that sense of safety that someone has like just yanked from under you.
Absolutely.
And, you know, of course, providing that safe space for them again is absolutely paramount.
I want every locker open, everything open at all times. All doors open. No more locked doors.
No more closets. Just remove the doors from everything, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just
no windows.
Nothing but cubbies, no closed rooms. Yeah, that's, I don't even know how any of them could deal with that.
Exactly. And, you know, like any crazy event or massacre or anything like that, the media attention to it kind of prompted public anger. Everybody was upset. You know, this is their reputation. Finland really doesn't have that reputation, not like America.
And also, I think, you know, sometimes even when we are covering these stories, something that flashes through my mind is just like, do I really want to give this murderer's views any, like, I really want to say this into a microphone because this fucking asshole thought it, you know?
I'm going to make fun of it.
But I do want to talk shit on it and laugh at him because he's an ass. But yeah, I just do feel like there is that sense of giving it the attention that it doesn't deserve. Like, don't give this kid what he wanted.
Totally.
You know?
But if it can help anyone, you know, like these extremist thoughts lead to this guy's dead, you know, and we're making fun of him. That's your legacy? Like, no way.
And hopefully, you know, there are things that, you know, in a situation, it's too late now, it's already happened. But what can we learn from it? You know, like, how can we support these students that are maybe on the fringe that you see these signs in and handle it better next time?
Absolutely.
How can we improve security? How can we support, you know, any of these students emotionally so they don't get to the place where they feel that fucked up that they have to lash out, or, you know, and whatever it is, you know. And
that was a big thing, is that people are like, what about the security in our land? Like that,
right?
Because I guess Finland in a survey was described as the world's most livable country. So people are just like, what's up with our security? How did this happen? And again, someone had said something 3 times to this head of the school. Like, what?
And how did that fail?
How did that fail?
Learn from how that failed. You have to do it differently next time.
And he tried to get psychiatric help. Maybe he did need to be hospitalized.
Right. And they were trying to be too gentle with him and not really institutionalize him to get him on maybe the right meds, maybe whatever it was, you know?
So, psychosocial service manager Anna Cantel-Forsbaum had spoken out about this and said that it was mainly caused by a lack of psychiatric care, lack of psychiatric care available to the Finnish youth, and didn't reflect on Finnish society as a whole.
Okay.
But so here it is. It also prompted the government to raise the legal age for gun ownership from 15 years to 18 years.
That's an improvement.
Yeah. There was
But still just like, and I just think of an 18-year-old and how fucked up they are. This kid was 18.
How could you be 15?
He still could have done this attack with that law change.
And that's what they said.
Right.
And they totally were like, even with the change, it still would have happened. That's not the issue. Gun problems weren't the issues.
Yeah, there's definitely more underlying stuff there that needs to be addressed, period.
the government decided to set aside resources for social affairs, health, and education. Local authorities had asked for a 4-year response plan, asking for €5 million to fund it. And half of it would go towards therapy and occupational guidance for affected residents. Other half would go to school guidance counselors.
Okay. They're trying.
Oh, school guidance counselors, psychologists, school healthcare personnel, and other
there we
experts.
go.
I was like, wait,
guidance counselors.
That's 2.5
That's just
euros.
that one guy that's like, you should be in customer service.
Absolutely.
Why don't you apply for this bank? You'd make a really good McDonald's employee.
So on November 8th, the flags were flown at half staff, and the country of Finland kind of mourned
of course
for its students, and there was a moment of silence. Things really did change from this. They wanted to see how directions for teachers and principals on how to discuss shootings with people and shorter instructions for parents and just how to go from here in case that happens or how to deal with it after. So,
right.
It was considered a great tragedy. The Prime Minister, Matti Vanhanen, described it as a great tragedy and said, "This is an awful day. The shooting has deeply undermined the sense of security in society. Nobody has expected such things."
Yeah, absolutely.
The Finnish president, Tarja Halonen, expressed her shock, saying, I send my heartfelt condolences to the families of the victims in the shooting incident. The Evangelical Lutheran Church of Finland opened up a crisis center. So it seems like a lot of people really did, from social services to religious services.
Right. Everyone was trying to kind of band together and, you know, be more positive, find some sort of solution or whatnot.
Here's some fun facts on Finland. Just 5.2 million of population.
Is fun the right word?
Maybe not fun. Maybe not even useful.
Interesting.
You know, here's some facts.
Yeah.
So there's 5.2 million population. That's their population. The world's third highest gun ownership.
What?
56 guns per 100 people. Low rate of gun violence, and guns are used in 14% of homicides.
Interesting.
Yes. So,
I don't really know any of the American statistics off the top of my head.
Higher than that. 14% in homicides, I'd have to admit.
Yeah, that for sure. But I'm also just like, what's the average, guns per 100 people or whatever?
That's over 50%, 56 gun per 100 people, right?
Yeah, that's just
not
it's just crazy.
That's a really high.
But I don't really know. That sounds crazy to me. That sounds high to me. But I also don't know what it's like in America.
True. It's like 1,000 to 2. But so I tried to watch some of his videos on YouTube, but thank goodness they took a lot of them down.
Okay.
But you can still find them through his followers. And when the sickening amount of videos, I saw like a eulogy thing where they played like really beautiful music for him. I can't find any of the victims' names. I can't find any YouTube videos for the victims.
No.
It made me so sad because I really wanted to list the names, but maybe that's Finland's way of.
Yeah, sometimes there are those certain laws that protect any underage victim, and then different countries have different laws. Like if they're alive, then it's one thing. If they're deceased, it's another. So
maybe
that may be a factor that because they were minors. Yeah, but
I tried to find it.
That's the other thing. Like that's kind of like I was saying earlier. Like we're giving attention to this person that did this horrible thing and talking about his manifesto, and so often the victims get zero representation.
Absolutely.
And I just feel so bad. Even like last week when I was reading the names of the victims for last week's crime, and you see just a little blurb like, you know, Susie, she was a homemaker, you know, Laura, she was a teacher, really. And that's it. You're just reduced to this one blurb of like one thing you've done in your life when you've lived such an expansive, just, you know, profound existence, and then all of a sudden all we can talk about is this one delusional motherfucker.
Absolutely. This is going to be
so sad.
How you're going to be remembered in society, and it's going to be for your death. And I hope
even with a name.
Exactly.
It's so sad.
And I hope I can find the victims. I keep looking, but
if we do find them before, I'll put them in the show notes. I'll make a post about it and make sure and give more information if we do find it. But a lot of times it's kind of remarkable and so sad that you can't. Yeah. Period. Like no matter how hard I dig and do extensive research, they don't even have the fucking names. And
exactly.
It's so I don't even have the words for how emotional that makes me, you know?
Yeah, I can find 1,000 videos of people like, it made me so in the comment, because I love YouTube comments.
Right.
So there's one video I found of him, and he's shooting like a tennis ball or something like that. It's like it's like him practicing using his gun in the woods. That's that video.
The Eye of the Tiger video.
Yeah, exactly. And people are just commenting like, rest in peace, like blah blah blah, and like his anniversary, like you could have taken out. Yeah, like everybody is just. There are so many supporters of this guy. And what's crazy is that, like I said, like Elliot Rodgers, their tie is 4chan. They were both.
Oh, God.
I shut down that website. Please.
Also freedom of speech. No, but really.
Shut
it down.
But Anonymous, can we just have some hacktivists in here and like just fucking shut it down? Cause
yeah, it seems like there's just so much horrific shit that just leads back to that
4chan.
channel. Yeah.
Seriously. And this guy is... I thought it said like there was something you can only find about his parents talking about him, and then it's just that eulogy thing. I hope I'll post the videos too, but again, I don't want to give these other assholes any more views, but we could all leave terrible comments,
right?
So that was my story.
Oh my
Tom
God.
of Finland, Pekka-Eric of Finland, and it made me real sad. I cried a couple times. Oh, and they have
so
some video from inside the high school, but I couldn't watch it.
Yep. No, thank you.
Didn't do it. I
Hard
can watch
pass.
Columbine because I've watched 1,000 documentaries of that, but for some reason
I don't want to let any new in. Like,
no,
I'm familiar
done.
enough with Columbine, but I don't want.
Yeah.
I can't. School shootings, I just can't.
I'm filled to the brim of videos off of it. Did you see, totally off topic, did you see that video of that kid getting stabbed in New York?
I have seen it pop up, and I cannot.
I will not
do it.
One of our coworkers ruined my day yesterday.
Dude.
It was a beautiful Sunday.
Past tense before that happened.
Like, he's holding on to the door and someone's pulling him.
I keep seeing, and I've read the art.
It's bad.
I can't watch that.
I hate the human race. I'm just kidding.
Please don't shoot up a school, dude.
Just kidding. Vigilante justice. But yeah, that was
Pekka-Eric.
Pekka-Eric Auvinen.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck you, Pekka.
I'm gonna try and do some digging and see what I can find.
Please do.
I'm not hopeful because it's so sad that so often there's no information about the victims, but I do want to give it a good old college try at least.
Yeah, and after a while, everything that's finished kind of looked the same to me too. So
it just starts blending together and your eyes cross.
It's a beautiful language though, and I guess I kind of want to visit. It's the most livable country.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I've heard amazing things, but again, I'm American. I don't know much.
Exactly.
Thanks for the story.
Yeah, that was good. I had a great time. And I might
feel
cry.
Like this is a first date. What just happened?
This is the first time
So I've had a great time, but
can you call me when you get home, or do you want to walk me to my door, or how do we do this? Can I do the ass out hug?
Oh no! Am I getting friend zoned?
you know,
just a manifestation of the male ego.
Have you seen The Staircase?
I did, but I've seen some prior to it being basically quote remixed for
it is
fucking
remixed.
Netflix. But I remember a long time ago just seeing, because it was, much older, and there was also a couple, of course, like offshoot different like series done on it, like Forensic Files and stuff like that.
It was Forensic Files. That's what it is. And then they do the whole owl thing, right? Yep. And they're like, a feather was found. It's
right.
Like, fucking, it's a house, man, in the middle of a woods.
I saw a meme the other day that called a feather a bird leaf.
Oh, yeah. You said that.
Did I send that to you?
So good. That was the best string of memes ever.
Like, it's so sexy
Bitch,
when my man like uses a bird leaf on me.
Bitch, you mean a feather?
Shit was good. So funny.
Yeah, I thought his son did it, by the way.
Oh,
his oldest son.
Interesting.
His stepmom pushed her down the stairs.
Huh.
Yep. Bludgeoned her and pushed her down the stairs. But that's just me.
I definitely think that he did it because
you do?
His fucking
Why? Because he's gay or because he's bisexual? You would.
You know me, how much I hate my own kind. It's deep self-loathing. No, it's just fucking. It's that thing. You just look in someone's eyes and you're like, you you killed someone.
You can't, because there's some people that you're like, oh, you fucking killed someone. And you're like, oh, wait, no, you didn't.
Except for when you can. This is a good
you're right.
Point counterpoint.
You win.
Overruled. No, there's something ever since the very beginning. Like, I didn't even know any of the backstory. And there was just the way he talks about things makes my skin crawl.
Totally.
Like, seeing him talk makes my skin crawl.
He's definitely hiding something.
Yeah, for sure.
But I also feel like you are going to be weird when your whole family finds out that you're bisexual and they get the details of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be uncomfortable, but not uncomfortable to make you appear like a murderer.
It just seemed like true.
There's no amount of discomfort that'll ever make me have a look in my eye like I fucking murdered my wife. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, hey, one time I ate a dick. Now I just have this look on my face of a murderer. You know, like, that just doesn't happen. That's not a side effect of, gay sex. Sorry.
Why is she so angry? She ate the worst dick ever.
Worse. Just
subpar dick.
I would Yelp review that a 1 star just because I can't give it a 0.
It's just, what, the conversation between him and his son when he was in jail, like, I feel like his son left and then he came back to see him, and it's something weird about the son, dude. His oldest son, not the one that's married, but his oldest son.
Yeah.
Totally did it.
Yeah, because he was raised by a murderer.
So they probably both killed people, right? The second, you know what? Staircase 2 is on his son. Calling it now. 2027.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, do we have any updates? Do we have any, before we wrap it up?
Oh, any news?
Any nudes?
I guess I should say thank you to some people because, I know you never go on Facebook, literally ever.
What's that?
However, I posted something on my personal page, and some listeners are friends with me on Facebook and whatever, which are really, it's sweet to have our listeners on my Facebook page. It's really nice. And I had posted something that happened over this weekend. And people were really sweet and supportive and reached out to me, and I just wanted to say thank you.
I'm a dick because I don't even know what happened.
Kelly never knows what's going on.
Off air. We'll talk about it off air.
I mean,
well, thanks to
I can tell you right now.
Yeah.
I lost my shit in the store the other day and cussed a bitch out because she was transphobic. And I made a full-on scene. I've never done anything like that in my life. But this bitch was making comments about my significant other's gender and clearly wanted me to hear, and was also like elbowing me and was right behind me in line and was she was homophobic, transphobic, the whole fucking thing, and was trying to get in my space and trying to make jokes, and it was really upsetting, and I cussed her out really inarticulately. One of those things where like you just put a bunch of curse words together. Yeah. You fucking trash snake. You garbage fucker.
Do your laundry.
Bitch.
Like butch, bitch. I don't know.
It was just like, I wish that I would have gotten my point across a little bit better, because I wish that in those moments that I could just actually have a not shitty dialogue and be like, hey man, don't be a dick, whatever. Yeah, but it all went out the window when someone is attacking me and attacking the person I love, and I just kind of went mama bear on her, and I also in the parking lot maybe cussed her out a little bit.
Wait, so she didn't work there? You didn't ask to speak to a manager?
I took this shit outside because she was a customer.
Can I ask what establishment? It wasn't a TGI Fridays or anything,
was a very classy joint known as the 99-cent store.
The one across the street from work, huh? No, or Van Nuys.
Van Nuys for sure.
Oh, I'm going.
Yeah, because my significant other does dollar store vegan.
Yeah,
so we were doing dollar store vegan stuff, like looking, whatever. We're dorks. Anyway, so we're at the dollar store and we had an incident. So I really just wanted to say thank you, because I don't really post a lot of personal stuff. I just don't put a lot of stuff out there. I don't even. Yeah. I do stuff on our murder dictionary page literally almost every day. Yeah. And I'll go like a month without saying anything on my own Facebook. But it was just very sweet that people reached out and commented and messaged me, and I was extremely shaken up and really fucked up about going through something like that, and also just getting so worked up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to get worked up and freak out at people, strangers in fucking public, but it was very nice that people were, you know, really sweet to me, and I just wanted to say thank you.
I'm going to keep tomatoes in your car or eggs in a little lunchbox so you can bomb on people, because there's nothing more fun than that than just getting an egg. Actually, eggs hurt. Tomatoes, not so bad.
Like, my brain kind of splits into two, where I feel really regretful that I wasn't just more calm.
Yeah.
And also really regretful that I didn't escalate it to like beat that bitch's ass.
Yeah.
You know, like there's just, I wish I had eggs. I wish I just would have let my fist fly.
Wow.
But,
wish I would have been there.
Man.
Amos was probably so nice about it. No? Oh my God. I just can't imagine Amos ever getting upset. Ever.
Well,
Amos, you're an angel.
at first, you know, they were like dragging me out of the store, like, let's go. And then once we were outside, I was just like, no, they said stuff about your gender presentation, which, you know, Amos didn't hear because, you know, whatever, I was closer. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, once we were outside, then Amos just like let it fly and was fucking screaming too. Anyway,
but you survived.
I did, and I'm sorry to be all crazy.
No,
and
you survived.
Whatever, but I just wanted to say thank you, because people were just so sweet, and it's really
traumatizing.
It was just really sad to have someone be like that and be so fucked up. But I just wanted to say thank you to the people, because I know that there are so many good people that outweigh that one bad fucking apple that's a dick, you know?
It's more than 3% are just intelligent. You know, fuck thanks everyone for supporting my baby boos.
Thanks guys. It means a lot to me. Aww. So that's all. Well, I know that was I talked too much.
No. Can I say thanks to can I just give a shout out to my friend Tia, who just always listens, and she updates me with things. She's like, oh my God, you guys came out with an episode. Like, she just more fucking. I'm like, we did. Like, shut up. And I just
Kelly never knows what's going on with our show.
I barely go on Stitcher. Now I'm using just the internet for things, so because it's just overwhelming me. I get a little overwhelmed.
Internet? You're using the internet?
Yeah, so thanks. And I miss Anna too. I just miss everyone, and I just want to say thanks to everyone that adds us and takes the time to support us and really just be cool ass people. I don't think I've ever met such cool people.
On that note, let's thank our Patreon people too.
Mandy, Jaime. Are the Lannisters on there?
Yes, definitely.
Word.
Naomi, Jennifer, Jessica, and Mandy. So thanks you guys for your support on Patreon. And again, if you wanted access to bonus episodes and little merch items and stuff, then check out our Patreon. And if you want bigger items, shirts, you know, mugs, phone cases, stuff like that, we have a bunch of stuff. Then check out Threadless. Yeah. And I think that's pretty much it. I'm sorry I was so long-winded at the end. But, you know, people, once the story's over, they can just tune out.
It's just us, dude.
I don't like doing it at the top of the show. I feel like I feel bad talking too much about personal stuff at the top of the show, but we rarely talk about personal stuff. So
it's like our after-sex cigarette. You know? Let's just sit back and relax, dude.
Good point.
So you ready to true crime, chill, and argue about the staircase?
Oh, yes.
Do it.
Bye.
Bye.